2023 is coming to an end, and man, it's been a heck of a year for gaming. Just when you think we've seen the last big hit, something proves us wrong. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're breaking down the biggest games coming out in October 2023. Kicking off a jam-packed month is a game I am genuinely excited to play. If you've been following the channel for a spell, then you know I'm a fan of Assassin's Creed. That's just what it is. Like many, I've been waiting for the game to return to its roots, and it looks like it's finally going to happen on October 5th with Assassin's Creed Mirage. The game promises to pay homage to the origins of the story and bring it back to its true assassin roots. Simple but satisfying stealth combat, a rich linear story, and easy-to-execute systems to enhance the experience. Mirage takes place in 9th century Baghdad, a singular city, not a sprawling open world. You'll play as Basim, a character you might recognize from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as you explore his origin story from street rat to master assassin. Along the way, you'll be guided by a mentor, Roshan, voiced by the incredible Sherwood, who always delivers when it comes to epic storytelling. After some early hands-on testing, I can tell you the game is a true return to form, but how that will all play out end to end, well, it's just too early to tell, but I absolutely can't wait to don the cloak again and dive into Assassin's Creed Mirage. The new open-world fantasy RPG, The Bloodline, hits the scene and claims to have it all. A massive open world supposedly jam-packed with things to do, in-depth crafting, harvesting, side quests, a massive skill tree, you name it, The Bloodline supposedly has it. There are no classes, but with over 500 skills to build out, it's looking to be quite the sandbox for players to explore and truly make their character their own. We'll be curious to learn how the team shakes up a true open-world experience, as many games simply rubber stamp assets and events. Hopefully that's not the case here, and the folks at Shieldbearer Studios can bring something fresh to the table. Pikachu is back at it in Detective Pikachu Returns. You and your partner, Tim Goodman, will investigate the theft of a precious jewel and unravel the mystery around Pokemon-related incidents around town. Take notes, deduce conclusions from the facts, and partner up with your fellow Pokemon and use their special skills to help get to the bottom of a mystery. Oh yeah, and apparently Pikachu's wild about coffee, so don't stand in his way. Xbox flagship racing sim Forza Motorsport has carefully stripped back many of the frills as the company looks to make this essentially a rebirth of the franchise. It's been said to feel more like a training sim than pure racing entertainment, and that's precisely what the devs at Turn 10 are hoping to achieve. Basic but informative systems, immersive track designs, and all new features like the breakthrough blind drive accessibility are what the team hopes will bring back players to the series that claim to be the best of the best in the biz. The ever-popular Soul genre gets a new installment as Lords of the Fallen hopes to make a name for itself. The action RPG continues to look as impressive as the day it was announced, taking you across two breathtaking worlds, some epic boss fights, and a fluid combat system we've come to anticipate from games in this space. And hey, would you look at that, co-op featured right from the start. This is one that's been on our radar for some time and we'll be diving in on day one, so if you want Lords of the Fallen content in your feed, be sure to subscribe. Alan Wake 2 is just full-on embracing the survival horror theme at this point. You've been trapped in a world between worlds, and in order to escape, you write your own horror story to shape the world around you. The psychological horror experience will take players across two distinct worlds, and you'll play as both Alan Wake or Saga Anderson in a connection that can only be described as supernatural. Light is your ultimate weapon as the darkness closes in on you, and you attempt to wade through the horrors awaiting around every corner. Dr. Eggman is at it again, and it's up to Sonic and his friends to stop him. Sonic Superstars pushes the classic 2D side-scroller to new heights. Take on the Doc and his posse alone or with up to 3 friends and experience all new Emerald powers, new enemies, and never-before-seen environments. Grab your running shoes and get ready to spin, jump, and roll through the chaos. The master of endless games are back with an entirely new adventure, Endless Dungeon. The goal is simple, escape, but to do that you'll need to fight through waves of bugs and robots looking to put the kibosh on your plans. The game looks to combine elements of roguelites, twin-stick shooters, and even some tower defense as you explore the station and execute your big escape. What catches my eye about the game is the fast-paced co-op action and given that the cast of heroes actually looks different than your standard fare, this might feel like a new type of adventure. Add in the extra challenge of fighting off waves of enemies while escorting an adorable crystal robot to your destination, and who knows, Endless Dungeon might have a recipe for success. As a team, we'll be checking this one out, so keep it right here if you want to learn more ahead of the game's launch. Blasting onto the scene mid-October is Gangs of Sherwood, which claims to be a bombastic reimagination of Robin Hood and his merry gang of thieves. I'll admit, I like the concept of a PvE 1 to 4 player co-op adventure where you and your team of heroes square up against the forces of evil across Nottingham. Based on what I can tell, the team is definitely taking some liberties with the source materials, leaning into both blood and metallurgy to inject some new ideas into a classic setting. You'll get the chance to play as Robin Hood, Maid Marian, Little John, and Friar Tuck, and they each have a very different moveset, built around classic archetypes like Tank, Brawler, Assassin, and Archer. But the team promises that playstyle flexibility is at the core of the game's progression system. It's a vibrant and certainly familiar-looking action experience, but will it truly be able to deliver? Time will tell. If you're sick of shooters and fantasy dungeon crawlers, how about we slow things down with a title called The Gap? Being developed by a two-person team in Slovenia, the game forces you to grapple with the reality of an illness that slowly eats away at your capabilities and destroys your memories. You won't find any elaborate combat systems in the game, just an ever-evolving story of love, loss, family, and corporate intrigue. If you're a fan of games like Firewatch or The Stanley Parable, I think The Gap may be a title worth checking out. Coming to the PlayStation 5 later in the month is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Look, I'm not a PlayStation guy, but this game looks incredible. Swap between Peter Parker and Miles Morales in just a few seconds as you tap into their different abilities as you once again attempt to keep New York City safe from the clutches of evil. Kraven the Hunter, Lizard, and Venom all make an appearance throughout the game, and with the introduction of new systems like the wingsuit, it's never been easier or more cinematic to zip across one of the world's most iconic locations. Truthfully, I'm jealous of all my friends that get to play this come October 20th because it's clear this is the biggest and best Spider-Man game to date. But don't take my word for it, the first impressions have been fantastic, setting up the game for an epic launch. If you've been waiting for the next Super Mario side-scroller, then the wait is almost up. Super Mario Bros. Wonder takes players to the nearby Flower Kingdom where Bowser once again is on the verge of ruining everything. Take control of Mario, Luigi, Peach, and more as you complete courses across 7 new zones. You can even take advantage of Yoshi and Nabbit, who won't die when they take damage, offering a slightly easier experience. The game also features new power-ups like Elephant Form that completely transform your character, allowing you to tap into a new arsenal of skills and abilities. There's also Drill Form that gives you an edge over enemies above you and anything hiding below. At the end of the day, this is a classic Mario 2D adventure with a fresh coat of paint, and that's perfectly okay. It's a timeless experience players can enjoy on the Switch come the end of October. Another year, another Just Dance. By all accounts, the game doesn't look to be changing up much of its core formula. There will be a string of new songs players can dance to at launch, with Just Dance Plus offering new content on a semi-regular basis. For some coin, of course. I have a hard time imagining anything I say about this game will win over new fans, but what I did manage to learn was that to really play this game the way it was meant to be experienced, you'll need a PlayStation 5 with an external camera. On both the Switch and Xbox Series X, the dancing just isn't quite as immersive. Either way, it's more dancing, more genres of music, including K-pop, Latin, all the things. No, yeah, it's coming end of October. Released back in 2015, the original City Skylines evoked the spirit of SimCity in a way players had never experienced before. Not only was the game massive, but building a city became almost Zen-like, with a focus on the artistry behind every building and bridge. The game has continued to expand over the years with the introduction of DLC packs, but after almost a decade, the team behind the game, Colossal Order, decided it was time for something new. Cities Skylines 2 won't necessarily look new to untrained eyes, but there are so many little changes, it's hard not to get excited about diving in on day one. For example, in Skylines 2, every time you build a road, it'll automatically come with underground electricity and water. That's a big deal. Every system from roads and bridges to city services and zoning has undergone some sort of transformation, and with the introduction of things like climate and weather, there's no telling what kind of cities our imaginations will allow us to create. If you've never played City Skylines before, consider checking it out before the sequel releases because it's one of the best large-scale city builders out there. The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria is said to be the only survival crafting game set in the 4th age of J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. I don't know if that's true, but I'm pretty excited about the idea of exploring the mine solo or alongside a couple of friends. From what I can tell, the game plays out like a traditional survival game where you'll be tasked with exploring the depths of a procedurally generated Moria, crafting tools, hunting for food, and ultimately retaking the riches of the dwarves. Return to Moria looks interesting to say the least, and after the train wreck that was the Gollum game earlier this year, I'll admit I'm a little apprehensive to go all in on a new Lord of the Rings title. It's clear the game isn't going to be a gritty survival experience, more of a fun fantasy adaptation, which could work. We'll just have to wait and see. I can't tell you how excited I am to check out this last game, Ghostrunner 2. First released back in 2021, the original game took the entire platformer genre into a new era. The game features action puzzle combat, which forces you to think about your actions before making them or risk the consequences. It also takes the slow and methodical pacing of most platformers and dials it up to 11, also slapping down a pulsating music score to keep the blood pumping. Ghostrunner 2 looks to build upon that exact same formula, and by all accounts, the team doesn't look to be pulling any punches. The post-apocalyptic world seems to be more defined with slightly more story elements, and of course, the runner's arsenal looks to be as deadly and varied as ever, with new maneuvers and even the introduction of a speeder bike. If you haven't played the original game, do yourself a favor and pick it up for dirt cheap, because I guarantee you Ghostrunner 2 is going to be a banger. A jam-packed October with no shortage of interesting looking games to check out. Some months I get a little worried, I'm not gonna lie, but this time around I think the deck is stacked. Friends, as always, thanks for checking out another Legacy Gaming video. If there's something on this list that has you excited, let us know, or if we missed a game, drop us a comment down below. You can always join us on Discord if you want to talk about great games, and for your chance to win free prizes and connect with the team. That link, as always, is below. My name is Cody Atkin from everyone here at Legacy Gaming. Thanks for watching, and play on.